Hey everyone, John Martinez here with the REI Sales Academy, and I want to talk about something. I want to talk about sales strength. Let me start by asking you a question. So, have you ever, maybe taken some time off of the gym, off of exercise? Maybe you don't exercise at all, and it's just not part of your routine, right? But you decide to go in one day. You go into the gym or you go into an exercise class, you decide to do something really physical after not doing anything physical for a long time, and you go all out. You put in 100%. What happens? What happens when you do that? You usually end up on the floor like this guy, right? You get absolutely worn out. And it doesn't work, right? What happens after you fall on your face and you're just passed out on the floor, just absolutely exhausted? Do you do the same thing the next time you go into the gym? Do you even go into the gym at all? Well, the answer is probably no, right? Because you have such a bad experience and it took so much energy and effort, and you probably didn't get many results because it was just one time that you give up and you don't do it again. Sales is a lot like that. When you just try to deploy a tactic out of nowhere, and you don't practice, you don't do any sales using any sales tactics or strategies, you just don't do anything on a consistent basis, and all of a sudden you decide, I'm going to go all out on this sales call, and you go in and you give it everything you got. What usually happens is you end up just exhausted, didn't get very many results, and then you decide not to do it again. And then maybe a few months or a year later, you read a new sales book or you get some fantastic tip and you do it again, and you get the same result. You're exhausted, you're on the floor, you don't feel very good, and you don't do any of it again. You don't use another sales tactic or strategy again for a while, right? So strength training or exercise and what I call sales strength, it's the same thing, right? That's just it's obviously a horrible approach. But unfortunately, this is kind of the cycle that most of us get stuck in with sales, right? You learn something new, you go all out, you try to deploy it, you don't get very many results, you end up exhausted on the floor, and you don't do it again. Here's the point I'm trying to make here, is you got to step up your sales diet, right? You got to get consistent with it. Just like exercise, sales you got to have a consistent diet. You got to have a consistent diet of training. You got to have a consistent diet of deployment of the tactics and strategies that you've learned. Why is this important? Why does it work this way? Well, it's the same thing as dieting. So look at dieting. Okay? Can you just diet all out for one meal and expect consistent results? So can you have burgers and fries and pizza and candy every single day, but then for one meal, it's like nothing but romaine lettuce, and then expect to see some weight loss or some type of physical results? No, you need that consistency, right? Same as diet and exercise as it is in sales and sales training. You need consistency. It needs to be practiced every single day. Even beyond that, here's how else I think dieting really relates to sales and sales process and sales training and getting better at the craft in general. You got to be consistent with the type of diet, right? So let me break this down for you. So what if you're on a low carb diet? You can do that low carb diet perfectly, right? So you're not eating a lot of carbs, you're eating a lot of protein and fat one day. You could stick to that diet. You can even exercise that day, and you can do it perfectly. But what if the next day you change your tactic, you change your strategy? It's a new diet. Now it's a low fat diet. So it's low protein, higher in the carbs, and almost no fat. And then what happens if the next day you do a whole different type of diet? You're just, maybe it's a juice diet, maybe whatever kind of crazy diet, right? Maybe you're just doing some intermittent fasting. So you're not even watching calories, you're not watching your macronutrients, your carbs, your fats, your proteins. You're just eating whatever you want the first 3 hours of the day and then nothing the rest of the day. Do you think you'll get very good results from that diet? No, right? You got to pick a plan and stick with it. So this is another problem I see in sales training, is people try to use all kinds of different tactics and strategies from day to day. They never get good at one. They never get results from any because they're changing what they're doing every single day, right? They're changing their strategy. They're changing their overall game plan. So when it comes to diets and it comes to exercise, we look at those things, and it's kind of common knowledge, right? It's just we all understand that, yeah, if I'm going to diet, it needs to be consistent. I probably need to be on the same diet each day for it to work. When it comes to exercise, if I just go all out once a month or once a year, it's not going to have any impact. I need to kind of do it all the time, consistently, or else I'm just going to be worn out and not getting any results. Now, we understand that intuitively. We just get it. It's common sense with diet and exercise. But most of us don't carry over that common sense to our sales tactics and strategies that we use, or the sales training we do, what we do to get better at our craft each day if we're in any type of sales role, right? So I'm going to encourage everyone on here, everyone watching this video, just to get consistent, right? If you're learning one sales strategy, if you're reading a book on negotiation, stick with it for a while. Use those tactics and strategies until you get really good at them and it becomes second nature, right? Don't go to a different sales seminar every 7 days, every month, and then try to implement, because you're going to end up exhausted and not getting any results. So hopefully this tip helps you out some. Hopefully if you've got Audible on your phone and you've got 12 different sales books in your queue, you say, you know what, maybe this is just going to leave me exhausted and getting nowhere. Maybe I should just choose one. So guys, this is John Martinez with the REI Sales Academy. Hopefully this sales tip helps out some people a little bit, so you don't end up just exhausted on the floor getting no results. See you later.